Hey friends, and welcome to the Woolverine Crow Boutique Apothecary. Today I'm going to be making a Tribulus Terrestris tincture for an order of mine. For those of you who don't know, Tribulus is a very potent tonic, especially for reproductive health. It's got antidepressant properties. It's generally seen as an adaptogen, which means it helps your body deal with stresses better and helps you heal faster from injury. So Tribulus terrestris is pretty much a common weed, and we've all seen it before. It's native to Europe and Asia, but it was accidentally introduced here in the United States. And I'm sure that you will recognize its fruit. So the fruit, if I can get it to focus, the fruiting body of Tribulus terrestris, commonly known as puncture vine, puncture weed, or goat's head thorns. Now, I remember getting these stuck in my flip-flops a lot as a kid, and my bike tires, and they wreaked all sorts of havoc. So Tribulus terrestris is a very potent medicinal herb with qualities that sort of reflect its appearance. When Tribulus blooms, it has these beautiful little yellow flowers that seem harmless, and then immediately afterwards it starts to fruit. And the fruits are these very pointy, punctury goat's head thorns that we all despise. But when it comes to your body, Tribulus is wonderful because it helps you heal, like I said, from stress and injury. It's particularly potent as a male tonic. So for, young men that are really into working out and performance, it helps you perform better because it boosts your natural levels of testosterone. And then it also, like I said, helps you recover from stress. So if you work out hard and you're really sore, Tribulus helps your body adapt to that and repair itself. So it's a very strong medicinal herb. I tend to recommend it more for male clients than female clients, although there are some indications for females to use it as well. It's a great reproductive tonic for everybody, so it's good for people who are seeking to have children or have some kind of impotence that they want to remedy, or just if you want to feel more vigor and vitality in your life, it's a good tonic herb for that. So I kept these ones whole so I could show you what they look like. But I'm going to make a tincture with a powder. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and ground some Tribulus in my industrial spice grinder. If you don't have an industrial spice grinder, which I'm sure most of you don't, you can also grind it in a coffee bean grinder, or you can order it as a powder online. It grows wild all over in Colorado, so I don't really see a point in paying for it when you can collect the thorns easily on your own, but you can order it online if that's something that you feel called to do. Otherwise, you can also message me on my Etsy, and I'd be more than happy to make you a batch of Tribulus tincture. No problem. So what I have in this jar here is just about 5.5 ounces of distilled water, and I'm going to combine that with 4.5 ounces of 190 proof Everclear, which is 95% alcohol. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to get my alcohol diluted to about 40%. Why 40%? Well, I am using a dried herb, so I need to replace the water that would typically be in the herb before it dries, hence the distilled water. The constituents that I'm trying to draw out of the herb are both water and alcohol soluble. So that means that I want to use a little bit less than half alcohol so that both the water soluble and alcohol soluble constituents will get drawn out into the tincture for maximum benefit. So I'm just going to pour my 95% alcohol into my distilled water. I did measure this ahead of time, just for expediency's sake. And then I'm going to put my Tribulus terrestris ground herb into this tincture. Well, into this, it's called a menstruum. Whenever you have something that you're using to extract herbs that's liquid, it's called a menstruum. So the menstruum for this particular herbal remedy is 40% grain alcohol. If you are getting interested in making your own tinctures and that's something you want to do, a lot of people use vodka, which is fine. That's about 40% alcohol. So I wouldn't have to dilute that for this tincture. I have found a lot of different schools of thought about how you should dilute alcohol for tinctures. But I tend to do lower alcohol percentage for drier herbs. So for instance, if I'm trying to make a bark of some kind into a tincture or a root, and it's kind of a dry plant, I'll typically use a lower percentage of alcohol and let it sit longer versus doing a higher percentage and shorter, because I'm actually, a lot of times you'll be after the water-based constituents as well as the alcohol-based constituents, and you want to have those constituents come out into the tincture around the same time so that you don't have to do what's called a double extraction, which sometimes you do have to do for like reishi or other woody mushrooms. Some plants you have to do a water extraction and an alcohol extraction separately. This is one where we're doing a water and a alcohol extraction at the same time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and, sorry, this isn't really the prettiest thing. I'm going to use my giant spice grinder here to just dump in. I have about 3 tablespoons of Tribulus powder in here. Or I should say rough ground Tribulus. It's not really a powder yet, but, and I'm going to go ahead and dump all that in there. So we have begun our tincture. The next step is to just cover this with a lid and give it a good shake. And then I'm going to let it sit somewhere cool and dry and dark for about 4 weeks. Once it's sat for 4 weeks, I will strain it off, put it through my tincture press, and bottle the resulting tincture. So that's all there is to it. If you know the dilution rate for your herb, great. If not, I'll have to do another video on dilution because it's such a complex thing, and it does depend on the type of herb you're using, whether it's fresh, whether it's dry, whether it's a bark, a seed, a berry, a leaf, what constituents you're after. There's so much that goes into the phytochemistry and why you use which menstruum for diluting, or sorry, for extracting from herbs. And for those who cannot tolerate or are recovering from alcoholism and cannot use alcohol, there are other options, such as an infused honey is an option, which is a delightful option in my opinion. You can also do a glycerite, which is a non-alcoholic glycerin tincture. Those are also great for children. This is just a bog standard alcohol extraction. And what I'll do is every day that I see this, I'll give it a shake really well. And I just let it sit for 4 weeks. So shaking it once a day for 4 weeks. And then again, straining it, putting it through my tincture press, and bottling the resulting tincture. And that's all there is to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please feel free to leave any questions that you have in the comments section below. I know this is a lot of information to be thrown out there at once. This is the first of many videos I plan on doing regarding tinctures and the dilution process and the extraction process. So if there's something that you would like to see personally, feel free to leave it in the comments section or message me on my Etsy. And I will get in touch with you as soon as I'm able to. So thank you guys again for being here. Don't forget that you are precious, beloved, sacred beings, and I appreciate you being here very, very much. Drink some water, wash your hands, wear your masks, be kind to yourselves and each other, and I'll see you back here next time.